As a respiratory therapist, I've seen a lot of things in my 20-year career. I've worked trauma, I've worked through H1N1, I've seen some pretty vicious flu seasons, and nothing prepared me for what I was going to see this last year plus.
More than 365 registered nurses in this country have lost their lives to COVID-19 as early as April 2021, a higher number than any country in the world.
In my role, I really did get to see up close the consequences of a lack of coordinated federal response. Really, every state, county, and city in America was left to fend for themselves. And this lack of leadership from the highest levels of the federal government made plain to everyone the importance of electing competent officials at every level.
I'd be lying if I said that it didn't rattle me for a bit, because the operation in Los Angeles is massive.
Trying to balance the needs of everyday life in a new way with checking on friends and family and figuring out how to keep life moving when the previously simple answers were suddenly unsafe.
Our clubs and central committees needed to take a dramatic shift and function virtually. Overnight, the homes of our volunteers became our election headquarters.
Like many of you, my living room was turned into a classroom. I watched my friends struggle with finding childcare, adult care for their families while they work. Many of us afraid we were going to bring COVID home to our family members.
Many of us have avoided direct contact with our families for fear of exposing them to COVID. Some of us have even gone as far as staying in hotel rooms, in our garages, in our cars, separated from our loved ones because our employers did not protect us at work. We have won some protections, but only as a result of our collective action.
In our political discourse, we spend a lot of time debating about whether government should be big or small. And the pandemic showed all of us what I think we suspected all along, which is that none of that really matters. What matters is whether government works.
One of the things I said to myself early on was that Los Angeles was going to continue to set the example for how we operate, especially in a pandemic. That meant keeping our members safe, how we fundraise, making pragmatic changes while managing and maintaining a virtual experience for our newly elected members and our returning members that was as close to in-person as possible.
The pandemic changed a lot of things. Mostly it changed how we interact with people and how we get people engaged.
It required us to rethink how we campaigned, and it highlighted opportunities to connect with the world around us in ways we didn't before.
And it showed us how integral everyone in our community is to overcoming a crisis. We all have a role to play. We are all essential.
Our party at all levels stepped up. We checked on our members, expanded our volunteer base, implemented new tools, aided social justice movements, and navigated the impact of COVID within our community.
I think it was important for us to see how there's still a digital divide and how we needed to approach different communities with very specific communication styles.
Although we lost that in-person touch, we found new ways to more intentionally communicate.
I have learned so many new skills that I never thought I would be good at, but they have helped in every part of my life.
The reality is that we all had to adapt to keep going, and none more than our frontline workers and our essential workers. I said to myself, if they can adapt and keep going, so why should I complain? I have one job to do, and that's to keep the train on the track here in Los Angeles. And it's what I was brought in for, and it's what I was asked to do. So there's no option to fail, and no option to not keep going because the stakes are entirely too high for our counties and our state.
The minute the pandemic started, the Congressman Ruda asked us to stop our campaigning activities and immediately engage in collecting the contributions of PPE. Orange County and California as a whole was having a shortage of PPE, and we knew that our doctors needed it in order to combat the pandemic in full force without getting sick of themselves.
CNA nurses overcame attacks on our state's landmark safe staffing ratio law and successfully led the passage of a bill that requires hospitals stockpile 3 months of personal protective equipment to ensure employers are never forcing nurses or any healthcare worker to needlessly put our lives at risk to do our jobs.
I spent every free moment I had to volunteering to elect Joe Biden and Kamala Harris. And being a part of that effort to reach out to voters really kept me going through this pandemic. It reminded me that we have the power to make a difference.
The bold leadership decisions made by our leaders, informed by science, allowed us to know that everything which could be done was being done. We did not turn on ourselves, but looked to each other. I'm thankful that we did not give up on our values, both as Californians and as Democrats.
We mobilized our volunteers, we mobilized our donors, and California Democrats came out stronger because they donated over 25,000 pieces of personal protective equipment to help make sure that local hospitals were able to combat this pandemic in full force.
A state is only as great as its people. And despite all the noise, Californians know what we have to do to continue to be great. And here we are a year into this pandemic, getting the most populous state in the nation back on track.
We don't see a clear way to accomplish our goals, we get innovative. That's one of the things that makes me proudest of being a Californian. I have used that strength so much this year to stay connected and building towards the world that we know can exist if we work hard enough for it. Californians have collectively rewritten the rule book for how to create change in our world.
The overwhelming majority of us did the right thing. And I know that's hard. People are fed up, we're all tired, we're all worn out from this, including myself. But I want to thank everybody who did their best to comply with health mandates. And I know it made a difference, and I know we saved lives. And that's why I love this state, and that's why I love the people that are in this state and where I work and where I live. And together we're going to pull through this. We're going to make it through this, and I feel it.
In California, we have the most bustling economy, while we also understand that there's some people left behind, and we have a dedication to fight back and bring them along with us.
As Californians, we step up and we serve, and that's exactly what we've been doing, and that's exactly what we'll continue to do as we see our way through this pandemic.
Union nurses will continue to fight for a better future here in California, where no healthcare worker is left unprotected, where no patient is ever left behind, and where no person living in California ever has to go without the health care they need.
As Californians, we have the benefit of being hopeful for the future because we get to shape it.
And that's why I am so proud to say that I am California strong.
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 Please stand if you are able for the presentation of Colors, Pledge of Allegiance, and National Anthem sung by Homophonics, members of the San Francisco Gay Men's Chorus.
Shortly after Japan bombed Pearl Harbor in 1941, the United States government ordered all Japanese Americans on the West Coast to be imprisoned in 10 internment camps. There were no charges or trial. There was no due process. My family and I were unjustly imprisoned in 2 United States internment camps during World War II. From the age of 5 to 8 years old, I was categorized as an enemy alien by the U.S. government. Even so, behind the confinement of barbed wire fences, I began each school day with the Pledge of Allegiance. I could see the barbed wire fence and the sentry tower right outside my schoolhouse window as I recited the words, "with liberty and justice for all," each word stinging with irony. I was just a kid who mouthed the words I was taught. Now, the words mean so much more. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
You may be seated. And now a land acknowledgement by James C. Ramos and invocation by Reverend Kelvin Sauls.
Hi, my name is Assembly Member James Ramos, and I represent the Assembly 40th District in the Inland Empire. I became the first California Indian ever elected in the state legislature in 2018, and I'm from the Serrano and Cahuilla tribes, and I've been asked to offer a land acknowledgement for all California Indian people in the state of California. And it's my great honor to do this, to honor all of our ancestors from the California's first people here in the state of California. And I will be offering a Serrano Bighorn Sheep song for the land acknowledgement for our territory and recognizing all those in the state of California. O ko naiva ueva naiva meno. O 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 naiva ueva naiva meno. Go naiva you ever 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 naiva meno. Naiva you ever naiva meno. Go 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 naiva you ever naiva meno. My great honor to recognize and honor the land of California's first people here in the state of California.
Greetings, beloved Californians. Allow me to begin by acknowledging our indigenous sisters and brothers whose lands we find ourselves on throughout California. As a Black immigrant from the Republic of South Africa, I come before you in this season of reckoning, filled with a deep sense of anxiety, yet possibility. We are living amid turbulent and tumultuous times while recovering from deception and division. What grounds me during these times are two values my parents, Jan and Annie Sauls, taught me: Sawubona and Ubuntu. Sawubona is a general greeting in one of our indigenous languages, which literally means, I see you. This greeting provides me with instruction and direction to be with others. Ubuntu is an understanding of humanity and community in several other indigenous languages, which literally means a person is human through others, or I am because we are. This understanding provides me with a direction towards a destination to belong with others. As a faith-rooted organizer and pastor, this greeting and understanding inform my spirituality with both mutuality and intersectionality. So, with open eyes and heads lifted high, receive this invocation, my brothers and sisters. God of grace and compassion, all your people gathered virtually for this California Democratic Party State Convention. Pour out your purpose and power with viability informed by diversity. As we gather to highlight the beauty and strength of all Californians, grant us wisdom and courage to share the bounty of the state equitably and serve the least among us through visibility informed by inclusivity. As we convene to reason and deliberate, grant us wisdom and courage for victory informed by equity, racial equity, food equity, pay equity, and equal justice under the law. Free us from the fears that hold us captive to a past that continue to put our democracy and the future of our planet at risk. Inspire us with a bold, borderless, and fearless faith to reimagine a beloved community characterized by a fairer, healthier, and more inclusive California. Facing the rising sun and growing into a new moral compass, guided by truth, liberty, and justice for all, let us march forward California strong, with a commitment to accelerate the eradication of injustice and inequities in all its manifestations and realize planetary liberation. I lift up this invocation to the God of no names, to the God of many names, including Jesus Christ. Ashe, amen. Let it be so. God bless you.
Please welcome Melissa Young to sing the Black National Anthem, Lift Every Voice and Sing.
Lift every voice and sing, till earth and heaven rings. Ring with the harmonies of liberty. Let our rejoicing rise high as the listening skies. Let it resound loud as the rolling sea. Sing a song full of the faith that the dark past has taught us. Sing a song full of the hope that the present has brought us. Facing the rising sun of a new day begun, let us march on till victory is won. God of our weary years, God of our silent tears, Thou who hast brought us thus far on the way, Thou who hast by Thy might led us into the light, keep us forever in the path, we pray. Sing a song full of the faith that the dark past has taught us. Sing a song full of the hope that the present has brought us. Facing the rising sun of a new day begun, let us march on till victory is won. Let us march on till victory is won.
Here to deliver the CADEM Credentials Report, please welcome Michael Wagaman. And for the adoption of the convention rules, please welcome CADEM Rules Committee Lead Co-Chair Gary Shea.
Good morning. On Thursday, the Credentials Committee met to approve changes to the DSCC membership list and proxies for this meeting, to further express support for making a Democratic president or vice president from California automatically a member of this body, and to request the Rules Committee consider issues relating to membership for federal cabinet rank level officials. With that, I'm proud to announce we have 3,410 registered delegates. With 96% of delegates registered for this meeting, we most definitely have a quorum. As this is a report of a standing committee, it requires neither a motion or a second, and without objection, it shall be adopted by acclamation, and quorum shall be carried over to tomorrow's general session. Thank you very much, and on behalf of the Credentials Committee, we look forward to seeing you all in person very soon.
Good morning, fellow Democrats. The last 13 months have necessitated many changes in society due to the COVID-19 pandemic, not the least of which is the way in which meetings and elections have to be conducted. I would like to thank leadership, my Rules Committee co-chairs, and fellow Rules Committee members, and especially our hardworking staff, in particular Unique Wilson, Emma Harper, Ben Seinfeld, and Yvette Martinez for their hard work and dedication in making all this work in these trying times. The many hours you have all put in have been greatly appreciated. Here at the California Democratic Party, we have had to amend our bylaws to account for changes not only in the way we elect our delegates, but our officers as well. We have tried to stay as close to possible as precedent, modified for a virtual environment. Taking those factors into consideration, I can safely say that the rules of convention are as close to how we have done things in the past as they possibly could be under these unique circumstances. Pursuant to the bylaws, the Executive Committee has set the agenda for this committee's annual convention. Additionally, the Rules Committee has recommended the proposed rules of convention to the Executive Board, which has placed them before you for your consideration and adoption. I see that my co-chair, Kathy Bowler, moves and Lawrence Zaxton seconds the adoption of the rules of convention. All those in favor say aye. All those opposed say no. Motion adopted. Thank you.
Please welcome California Democratic Party First Vice Chair Alex Gallardo Rooker. Second Vice Chair Daraka Larimore-Hall. Controller Daniel Weitzman. Secretary Jenny Bach. Delegates and guests, please welcome California Democratic Party Chair Rusty Hicks.
Good morning, California Democrats, and welcome to the 2021 Virtual State Convention of the California Democratic Party. I want to thank each and every one of you for joining us this weekend, the time in which we come together to celebrate all of the challenges that we've overcome and to prepare for the fights ahead. This weekend is about celebrating you as grassroots leaders that ensure that our party, the California Democratic Party, remains California strong. We've got a great lineup for you today, including our very own Madam Vice President Kamala Harris, DNC Chairman Jamie Harrison, Governor Gavin Newsom, and many, many more. We know that the last year has been incredibly challenging for all of us. A once-in-a-century global pandemic, an economic downturn, the ravages of climate change on full display, a reckoning with racial injustice in America. And through it all, you as grassroots leaders, as California Democrats, have come together to adapt to this incredibly challenging moment in our history. You've helped to recruit and train more volunteers than ever before. You've brought in more small-dollar donor contributors than ever before. Through your work, we've been able to engage both here in California and across the nation more voters than ever before. And we've been able to be a part of history. We've been able to help elect the first woman, the first Black woman, the first South Asian Black woman as our Vice President, Madam Vice President Kamala Harris. We've seen the first Latino U.S. Senator in California's history, Alex Padilla. We've seen the first Black woman appointed as our Secretary of State, Dr. Shirley Weber, and the first Filipino-American Attorney General in our history, Rob Bonta. This is something we can all come together and celebrate, a California example to the rest of the nation. But we know that we've not gotten through this past year alone. It's been those everyday heroes, frontline, essential workers that have been our hope, have been our promise, and in many ways our light in some of our darkest moments. It's the healthcare worker who's held the hand of our loved one. It's the farm worker who's ensured that food remained on our tables. It's the teacher who continued to train the next generation of Californians. It's the grocery worker that ensured that every shelf remained stocked. It's the firefighter who protected us from wildfires racing across the state. It's every community leader that ensured that vaccines were distributed equitably. Today we celebrate and we prepare, but we also honor. We honor their service, their sacrifice to get us through this incredibly challenging time. And as we recover together, we also prepare for an incredibly important fight ahead. The attempted Republican recall of our governor, Gavin Newsom. In his first 2 years in office, our governor has helped implement bold reforms that ensured that we built a California that worked for all of us. In the past year, he's led us through that once-in-a-century global pandemic. But now Republicans are attempting a cynical ploy to overcome the barrier they can't quite seem to get around, winning statewide office in California. And we as California Democrats are going to come together and make sure that remains the case. We're going to come together united and ensure that we protect and preserve our California values. You see, this weekend is not only about preparing and planning, but it's about getting motivated. It's about getting inspired to ensure that we keep California the bluest state in the nation. Because as dreamers and doers of the Golden State, when we remain together, California Democrats always are and always will be California strong. Enjoy the weekend, everybody. Thanks so much.
Good morning, Democratic siblings, and happy May Day. It is my honor to address you today as the first woman chair of the Labor Caucus. Thank you to everyone who supported me, and especially thank you to my predecessor, Tim Paulson, for setting an example of tireless advocacy for me to follow. Tim was never afraid to fight for the working people of this state, and I promise to be just as fearless. On May Day, we honor and reflect on the many contributions, struggles, and victories of workers across this nation and globally, both past and present. I want to thank each and every one of you for your part in the unwavering support of workers and the labor movement as a whole. We will need your support more than ever for the battles ahead. My union, UDW, represents over 120,000 workers who, like myself, are home care providers. We also represent over 20,000 family child care providers. My union is by majority women of color. All 140,000 of us served as frontline essential workers during the pandemic, and every one of us is grossly underpaid for the critical work that we do. Domestic workers, along with farm workers, were deliberately excluded from the National Labor Relations Act. We have had to fight twice as hard to even have our work recognized. The labor movement gave us the tools to do just that. The economic impacts of the pandemic have fallen overwhelmingly on women workers. We need to lead the way to the recovery. I'm proud to be the first woman to hold this position. I'm even more proud to use this position to raise up home care, child care, and all other work done mostly by women that is often unseen and undervalued in our economy. I look forward to working with all of you to build a California where all work is respected and all workers have what they need to live their dreams. Thank you, and si se puede.
Delegates and guests, please welcome California Lieutenant Governor Eleni Kounalakis.
Hello, Democrats. It is wonderful to be together for this virtual convention, and I hope everyone is proud of the work we did during the 2020 election cycle. It was the most important election of our lifetimes, and we did it. Together, we put a Democrat, President Joe Biden, back in the White House. We elected our own Kamala Harris as Vice President. We kept the House blue and ensured Speaker Nancy Pelosi kept the gavel. And ultimately, we won back the Senate. Here at home, we have also seen the appointment of California's first Latino senator, first African-American Secretary of State, and when confirmed, the first AAPI person to serve as Attorney General, just in time to make sure that our AAPI communities feel safe and protected. My fellow Democrats, as we emerge from the devastating impacts of COVID-19 and the failed leadership of the last federal administration, I truly believe, because of your efforts, we have the political leadership in Washington, D.C. and here in California to not just recover, but to build back better. There is a lot to be hopeful about. But as we know, the work of the California Democratic Party never stops. Our activism is more important than ever. On January 6th, Americans and the world witnessed the first time in our history that the peaceful transition of power was disrupted. We are fortunate that out here in California, the efforts of the Republican Party to create chaos and discord fall short. But we are facing a Republican-led recall of our governor, and we need to stand with our governor and make sure that this Republican-led recall fails too. My fellow Democrats, when I think of the work we have ahead, I cannot help but acknowledge the divisions that exist in our country. But as California Democrats, we have a very important perspective to share. California's progressive values have helped our state become a beacon of hope in the world and a powerful economic force as well. We have proven over decades now that we can protect our environment, fight global warming, and grow our economy at the same time. We prove every day that our diversity is our strength. We are 27% foreign born, 27% immigrants, and we are the most innovative and exciting place to be in the world. Of course, California, like all democracies, is a work in progress, but our success is, in and of itself, a powerful argument for the progressive values that embody our state. So as we continue the fight for universal health care, a living wage, debt-free college, criminal justice reform, and equity for all, I hope that you will continue to bring the joy and the light and the love that California represents to people across our state, across our nation, and around the world. Thank you.
I expected to bring home a paycheck, but I didn't expect to bring home the COVID to my whole family, which ended up catching it.
God forbid one of us gets COVID and then all of us get it. One of us goes down, all of us go down.
I have 2 kids, and it's been a struggle to explain to them why we can't go out in the public. It's the little moments that we miss.
At the UFCW local food drive in Pomona, we helped 300 families eat that day and help take care of the community.
Life is precious. We can't accomplish anything as an individual. It takes more than one person to make a change.
And I'd like to thank Josh Newman for you standing up for us. I appreciate it and thank you from all of us.
I don't think people before realized how much of an impact having a strong union behind us meant until now.
And now we've gone through a pandemic and we're here. This is our job. This is what we do.
Delegates and guests, please welcome U.S. Congresswoman Doris Matsui.
Hi, California Democrats. It is wonderful to be here with so many dear friends and colleagues, and welcome to the many new faces who are joining us today. I love the Democratic Party because we truly embody the American essence. We are diverse in every way, yet we share a core DNA of justice and compassion that creates an unbreakable bond. Across the past year, we've seen a dangerous wave of discrimination and violence against the AAPI community. Unfortunately, California has been far from immune, and our own neighbors and families have experienced this fear and this pain. As the past few years have once again shown us, volatile and racist rhetoric can quickly become normalized, from the top levels of government down to our neighborhoods. When we normalize this behavior and our social conscience accepts wrongdoing as the norm, this is when words can become the violent acts we've seen around the nation for the past year. There is a systemic problem here, and that is why AAPI leaders and Americans of all backgrounds, ethnicities, and communities have bound together against this senseless hate. I have lived an American story. I grew up on a farm in the Central Valley, went to UC Berkeley, and got a great public education. Got married and settled in Sacramento with my husband, where we raised our son, and I've had the privilege to work in public service in the White House and now in Congress. Yet, I'm only one generation removed from the incarceration of Japanese Americans in internment camps during World War II. My family has lived through the consequences of inaction, and no longer can we sit in silence and let fellow Americans accede to institutional racism and hatred. Despite these recent hardships, we've plenty to be proud of in the Democratic Party. We've seen coalitions of communities across our state stand up for each other, right now in the fight against AAPI hate and across the board for marginalized communities whose voices have too often been overlooked. These coalitions have spread to every cause that we care about. Fighting for expanded health care, a green future that takes aggressive action against the climate crisis, closing the digital divide. These are all American issues, and now is a time that we are standing up for ourselves and each other. My friends, the human toll of this dual economic and public health crisis has been immense. We've all felt the weight of this moment. Yet here in the Democratic Party, we never stand alone. My message to you today is to keep lifting each other up. Our collective voice is unwavering, and our empathy for each other gives us the strength to continue to build a better tomorrow. It will be up to California to lead. It will be up to all of us gathered here to continue to amplify each other's voices and spread our message of unity. Thank you for your engagement. Thank you for your activism. Thank you for your leadership to continue bettering our great state and our nation. Let's all stand together. And everyone, please stay safe.
My name is EJ Sire. I'm a disabled veteran sitting firmly in the middle class while getting to target building efficiency in the fight against climate change.
Hi, my name is DeMarcus Mixon. I'm an apprentice with Sheet Metal Workers Local 104. I'd like to take the time out to thank you for advocating towards project labor agreements, prevailing wages, and apprenticeship opportunities.
Hi, my name is Mike Lopez. I'm an apprentice for the Sheet Metal Workers Local 104. First of all, I want to say thank you to the Democratic Party for helping us out, keeping us busy, advocating these PLAs, supporting the apprenticeship program. I mean, I really don't know where I would be without it. And I will continue to fight to get you guys in office. And I want to say really from the bottom of my heart, thank you.
Thank you, California Democratic Party, for supporting union sheet metal workers.
Delegates and guests, please welcome a great American, former congressional candidate, Audrey Denney.
I'm Audrey Denney. I just finished my second run for Congress in California's 1st congressional district up in the northeastern corner of the state. We're the 11 counties up here, and my district is about the size of the state of South Carolina. It's very rural, very remote, and very Republican. We're an R11 district, and we have not had a Democrat represent us in the House since the mid-1970s. And in 2017, this was not my plan for my life. At the time, I was a 33-year-old ag teacher, but I looked around and I saw friends and neighbors and community members in my part of the world that had long since felt forgotten, right? They did not feel like they had a voice in the system. They did not feel like they could make change. And honestly, those who associated as Democrats had felt abandoned by the Democratic Party because they lived in a part of the world where they were afraid to put a Democratic-leaning bumper sticker on their car, right? And so I looked around and said, if we as Democrats want to continue to have an impact across our entire country, not just in urban and suburban settings, we need to show up in rural California, we need to show up in rural America, and show up for people. And that's why I decided to run. And folks, I got to show up for people that thought differently than me and looked differently than me every single day. One of those days was in Etna. It was late summer in the evening. I was all by myself at a street fair in Etna, beautiful, tiny, tiny town, almost to the Oregon border in Siskiyou County. And I was standing there in front of my table, and this older gentleman walks up to me. Looks a lot like my dad, wearing a Vietnam veteran hat, marches up to me and he says, "Little lady, are you Republican or a Democrat?" And I said, I'm a Democrat. And he proceeded to tell me for about 5 minutes why I was the devil along with everything I believed in. And when he was done, I just said, "Hey, so tell me about you. Who are you? What's your story?" And we chatted for 20 minutes, and I listened and I asked questions for 20 minutes. And at the end of that conversation, this guy gave me a big old hug pre-COVID, gave me $20 for my campaign and said, "Hey, I'm so proud of you." And folks, that's the difference that showing up and asking questions makes in people's lives, right? And that wasn't a one-off, right? My team and I, for 2 campaign cycles, got to show up in the most rural, remote parts of our districts at coffee shops and auction yards and churches and street fairs, and got to say, "Hey, what's your story? What do you care about? What do you need out of your representative?" And that is how That is how we built a movement in this part of the world, right? That is how we started to change the course of history for California's 1st District, right? Over the past 2 campaign cycles, we have emboldened and inspired activists at all levels in our part of the world and seen them and continue to see them take on more and more leadership roles, folks. And if I could leave you with one thing, it is that if we want to continue to make a difference at the national level, we cannot neglect rural America and rural California. We have to show up. We have to work. We have to put the resources in to show people that Democrats are the party that fights for people and that cares about people. And as soon as we start just thinking about winning races, we've lost our way. Our mandate as a party should be to live into our values and to do good every single place that we find ourselves.
I've worked hard to make a difference for over 25 years.
23 years.
More than 30 years. And I'm proud of what I do.
Whether you're a bus driver,
A teacher,
Faculty member,
a cafeteria worker,
counselor,
custodian,
a librarian,
a paraeducator,
or a school nurse.
every day we make an impact.
from early childhood education to our K-12 schools, to our community colleges and universities.
we all make a difference for our students.
We are all CFT.
I've watched these kids grow up.
I've helped prepare young people and adult learners to make their mark on the world.
I love seeing what our students become.
I'm proud of my contribution.
And while everyone might not always see the work that we do,
We work hard every day.
We are the difference.
We are the difference.
We are all CFT.
We are all CFT.
Delegates and guests, please welcome California Democratic Party First Vice Chair, Alex Gallardo Rooker.
Hello, California Democrats. It's almost impossible to believe it's been 24 years as First Vice Chair, and it is amazing to see how much the party has grown. None of it was done overnight. It took a lot of hard work to get to where we are today. My journey started in 1994 when the voters of California passed Prop 187, prohibiting the undocumented from accessing health care and public education. I remember the feeling of fear and despair in my community, but Prop 187 emboldened me to stand up, use my voice and my experiences for the first time. I remember how bleak the future looked and how impossible the challenges ahead seemed. Pete Wilson was in his second term and Republicans held a majority of the California Assembly. Our state was a huge national target. CWA Union helped me become a U.S. citizen. I volunteered at my first state convention and was then appointed as a delegate. Like many of you, I saw the opportunity to make the party better and more represented. In 1997, the year I first ran for vice chair, there was no one under 50 serving in the leadership positions. It had been over a decade since a Latina had served on the board. Less than a dozen Democratic women served in the state legislature. And of course, even fewer were women of color. None of this changed overnight. It took a lot of hard work and consistent, dedicated effort. The next year, things really started to change in a big way. The party helped elect Gray Davis to the governor's office, our first Democratic governor in 16 years. We took back the state legislature and elected more Democrats to statewide office. Living in Los Angeles, you could barely see across the skyline because of all the pollution. Through Democratic policies, we cleaned up LA's air and started moving California to clean energy. California had been plagued by poor infrastructure. Democrats came together with then Governor Schwarzenegger to pass Propositions A through E, providing a landmark $50 billion for our state's schools, transportation, environment, and water infrastructure. We elected Howard Dean as DNC chair. I gave his nomination speech and helped with his transition. We started to again invigorate and rely on small donors, and Dean developed the 50-state strategy to build a democratic infrastructure across the country that paved the way for President Obama's election and President Biden today. But as recent events have made clear, there will be times that try to divide us, In 2008, voters in California passed Prop 8, barring same-sex couples from marriage. It felt like a dagger in the hearts of so many of us who were proud of how far we thought our state had come at a time when marriage equality was not even quite a part of our agenda. It took immense public pressure and to overturn it. As a state party, we have helped define the national conversation. When I served as state chair, we brought in 14 presidential candidates to debate the issues that matter to Californians, the most candidates to appear at a convention in the history of our party. And for the first time, we hosted a televised presidential forum in Spanish. My hope for the future of the California Democratic Party is that we do not become discouraged or fall prey to the forces that hope to divide us. There were times where I and so many others felt fear and despair, but we fought together because we believed in the power of our dreams. Thank you, California Democrats, for 24 unforgettable years. As I make a way for a new leader to join the CDP team, I will still be fighting right there by your side with a sense of justice, conviction, and optimism in our journey that I first started with 24 years ago, fighting to keep hold of the House, to take back the Senate, and elect more Democrats all across the country in 2022. I know it will not happen overnight, but with hard work and consistent, dedicated effort, we will prevail. Thank you.
We're made up of many faces, but there's one thread, one bond we all tend to share. It's a sort of spirit that lives in each of us. It's a spirit that likes pressure and loves a challenge, that watches your back and demands pride in our craft. Our spirit's about being there for your family, for your crew, for your country. A knowledge that has been passed down for over a century. Forged from a determination to get it right the first time, every time. We are Boilermakers. This is what we do.
Hello, Democrats. My name is Sandra, and I'm here to guide us on a short wellness break. This is the chance for us to take a few minutes to take care of ourselves during this busy convention schedule. We'll start simple. You can stay seated in your chair, or if you feel the need to stand up, you can also stand up, and we'll do this breathing exercise together. First, separate your feet hip distance apart, and root down through the feet grounded into the floor. Then straighten the spine, rooting down through the sitting bones. Feel a slight lift up through the chest as the shoulders relax down the back. Let's begin to focus on your breath, not changing anything, just noticing the breath in and out. And on your next inhale, reach the arms up overhead, lengthening the spine. Reaching through the fingertips. Take one more deep breath. And then keeping all of that length in the spine, release the hands down. You can place the hands on the thighs, either face up or face down, whichever feels most comfortable to you. And gradually begin to soften the focus of your eyes. You can look down, or if it feels comfortable, you can close the eyes. On your next inhale, inhale to the count of 3. Inhaling 1, 2, 3. Exhale 1, 2, 3. Inhale 1, 2, 3. Exhale 1, 2, 3. Continue on your own. Using the breath count, you can either shorten it or lengthen it depending on your natural breath length. Keeping the breath smooth and easy. By evening out the inhale to the exhale, We hope to create balance in the body and in the mind. And we send a message to our nervous system of equilibrium. Just one more round. And when you're finished, just take a moment and notice how you feel. And when you're ready, gently open the eyes. I hope you enjoyed this first wellness break. I look forward to seeing you again.
I'm actually standing on the walkway of the bike path of the Gerald Desmond Bridge. We've had carpenters and pile drivers working here for the last 8 years steady. This is just a historic project that's going to last forever.
Like I said, this is one of the biggest projects in Southern California. So it was an honor, and a privilege to be here, especially for this long. Like I said, I've been here, over 5 years now.
I built this whole structure here from the bottom up. Just pretty awesome.
As you can see here, I helped build the SoFi Stadium. Right now, we're at the porch in Long Beach.
We're working on the regional connector for about a little bit over 2 years now. This project is very exciting to be on. It's really awesome.
Hello to all of my DEM 2022 members. I want to begin by thanking each and every one of you for your generous monthly contribution to the California Democratic Party. Because of your investment, we're able to do all of the incredible work of our party, organizing on a year-round basis and empowering grassroots leaders to do even more. As just a small token of our appreciation and acknowledgement of your generous contribution, we've provided you with these, your DEM 2022 pins. So now I'd invite you to take an opportunity to place your pin on. Again, thanks to each and every one of you for your generous contribution. And for those of you who haven't taken the opportunity to become a DEM 2022 member, it is not too late to sign up. I invite you to go to cadem.org/DEM2022 and sign up today. Thanks, everyone.
Delegates and guests, please welcome California State Attorney General Rob Bonta.
Why does Rob Bonta demand justice? It's in his DNA. Rob's parents were activists who marched for civil rights in Selma and advocated for democracy in the Philippines. In California, they joined Cesar Chavez and Dolores Huerta as organizers, demanding fair treatment for exploited farm workers. His parents taught him, when something's not right, it's time to fight. And that's exactly what Rob did. In the state assembly, Rob wrote California's Green New Deal and took on big corporations who pollute our air and water. Rob repealed racist sentencing laws and banned for-profit prisons. He passed the nation's strongest law, protecting renters from bogus evictions. And when Trump and white supremacists attacked, Rob fought for tougher hate crime laws. As California's Attorney General, Rob won't back down, standing with Asian American neighbors and defending all our communities from hate crimes, protecting consumers from fraud and corporate greed, and creating a justice system where every Californian is equal. Rob's fight has just begun.
Hello, Democrats. What an honor it is to be with you. Let me begin by thanking each of you for your hard work and dedication. Democrats across the country look to you to make progressive ideas real. As California Democrats, you make change happen. Thank you. It's been a humbling experience these past few weeks, being nominated by our incredible governor to serve as California's next Attorney General. I've been thinking a lot about activists like you, California change makers who have powered movements for racial, economic, and social justice. People like my parents who taught me that neighbors standing side by side can change the world. Righteous warriors like Dolores Huerta, Reverend Lawson, Harvey Milk, and Yuri Kochiyama. Throughout our history, justice has been California's most important export. That California fight to right wrongs and help others is why I went into public service and why I'm so excited to get to work. I see the job of Attorney General as the people's attorney, to fight on behalf of those who are wronged, to get justice for families cheated by multinational corporations, to defend communities ravaged by big polluters, to repair our broken criminal justice system, and to attack the forces of hate and white supremacy. As Attorney General, these fights, your fights, will be my fights. You know, as we've witnessed these horrific attacks against API Americans, I've been thinking about a picture that hangs in my office. It shows a hotel lobby in 1920 Stockton, and there in the lobby is a sign with 4 words: positively no Filipinos allowed. Throughout our history, so many of us have felt the sting of hate and intolerance. I've felt it. I know many of you have too. So many of us have faced attacks because of who we are, where we're from, and who we love. But that hate hasn't defined us or what we can achieve. In spite of hate, Californians have built the most diverse state and the world's most vibrant democracy. That 1920s hotel may have said, positively no Filipinos allowed, but today in California, every person isn't just allowed, we belong. Here in California, we look out for each other. And as your Attorney General, I will look out for each of you. Thank you, and hope to see you soon.
AB 1068 creates an alternative model for housing
It will make it easier to build housing for our unhoused community.
and low-income renters.
For less money while protecting our family workers. Join us in supporting AB 1068 because we need housing now.
We need a healthier and more equitable California, where communities aren't burdened by dirty air pollution and don't live, work, or play near polluting industries, where we all have safe and affordable access to water, and we protect our open spaces for future generations and visitors to enjoy.
Delegates and guests, please welcome California Democratic Party Second Vice Chair, Daraka Larimore-Hall.
Hello, fellow Democrats. My name is Daraka Larimore-Hall. My pronouns are he, him, and I'm very proud to serve as California Democratic Party Vice Chair. But my name could have very easily been Daunte Wright, or Marvin Scott, or Patrick Warren, or Vincent Belmonte, Angelo Quinto, Andre Maurice Hill, Casey Goodson, Angelo Crooms, Sincere Pierce, Marcellus Stinnett, Jonathan Price, Dijon Kizzy, Rayshard Brooks, Carlos Carson, David McAtee, Tony McDade, George Floyd, Drayshawn Reed, Michael Ramos, Daniel Prude, Breonna Taylor, Manuel Elijah Ellis, William Green, John Neville, Atlanta Jefferson, Elijah McClain, Ronald Green, Javier Ambler, Sterling Higgins, Gregory Edwards, Emantic Bradford, Charles Roundtree, Chinadu Okobi, Anton LaRue Black, Botham Jean, Antoine Rose, Saheed Vassell, Stefan Clark, Dennis Plowden, Bijan Geisar, Aaron Bailey, Charlena Lyles, the fetus of Charlena Lyles, Jordan Edwards, Chad Robertson, Deborah Danner, Alfred Alongo, Terrence Crutcher, Terrence Sterling, Corin Gaines, Joseph Mann, Philando Castile, Alton Sterling, Betty Jones, Quintonio Laguirre, Corey Jones, Jamar Clark, Jeremy McDowell, India Kager, Samuel DeBose, Sandra Bland, Raymond Allen, Manuel Levy Loggins Jr., Ramarley Graham, Kenneth Chamberlain, Alonzo Ashley, Derek Williams, Raheem Brown, Reginald Doucette, Derek Jones, Dan Roy Henry, Aliana Stanley Jones, Stephen Eugene Washington, Aaron Campbell, Kiwane Carrington, Victor Steen, Shem Walker, Oscar Grant, Tarika Wilson, Deonta Terrell Farrow, Sean Bell, Katherine Johnston, Ronald Madison, James Brissett, Henry Glover, Timothy Stansbury, Osamane Zongo, Alberta Spurriel, Kendra James, Orlando Barlow, Nelson Mendez, Timothy Thomas, Ronald Beasley, Earl Murray, Patrick Moses Dorismond, Prince Carmen Jones Jr., Malcolm Ferguson, Latanya Haggerty, Margaret Laverne Mitchell, Amadou Diallo, Taisha Shanae Miller, Danette Daniels, Frankie Perkins, Nicholas Hayward, Mary Mitchell, Yvonne Smallwood, Eleanor Bumpers, Michael Stewart, Eula May Love, Arthur Miller, Randolph Evans, Barry Jean Evans, Rita Lloyd, Henry Dumas. What we all have in common is that our lives still seem to not matter in this country, in this state. I question sometimes if it matters in the party, and we have to change that together. Thank you.
I am Patrice Marshall McKenzie, and I live in Pasadena. I donate to DEM 22 because I know that small dollars have a big impact. My monthly donation is building the bench for 2022 and beyond right now. I am investing in registering, training, organizing, mobilizing, and ultimately electing more Democrats statewide. Join me and invest in California's future today.
Delegates and guests, please welcome Executive Director of Sunrise Movement, Varshini Prakash.
Hi, my name is Varshini Prakash, and I'm the Executive Director of Sunrise, an organization of young people working to stop the climate crisis and create millions of good jobs for all. I'm glad to be with you here virtually. And when I think of the climate crisis, I think of so many of the young people I work with. I think of one of our young leaders in Texas, whose family had to move to Houston after getting displaced by Hurricane Katrina, only to be caught again in rising floodwaters when Hurricane Harvey hit her new home. Earlier this year, she got hit by the big freeze and decided to fight back by taking action against Ted Cruz, who left on vacation when people were dying in the state he supposedly represents. And now she and others are planning a 40-day trek from New Orleans to Houston to raise awareness about the climate crisis and hold their politicians' feet to the fire to take action. Another leader in the West Coast in need of a job took on odd jobs, fighting fires or being a contact tracer when COVID struck. He's fighting so the government will take responsibility for providing safe jobs, stopping the worsening climate crisis, and ending this pandemic. Sunrise formed to give young people, just like those ones, a voice and a path to channeling the injustices we're facing in our lives into political power, to take the anger and the grief and the hope that we have into bringing the crisis to the doorsteps of the most powerful people in the world and pressuring them to deliver the change that we deserve. Over the last 4 years of our existence, we have pressured hundreds of top elected officials to swear off donations from oil and gas CEOs and PACs. Through tenacious grassroots energy and organizing, we've helped push every major Democratic presidential candidate in the 2020 election to submit bold and visionary climate plans. We've worked with allies in the environmental justice movement and racial justice movement to shift the debate from carbon and parts per million to people and jobs, economy, and justice through plans like the Green New Deal, a 10-year socioeconomic mobilization to decarbonize our economy, create millions of good-paying, unionized jobs, and eradicate racial and economic inequality. We've trained and recruited thousands of young people, teenagers and 20-somethings, who never saw themselves as political action takers or change makers, but have found voice and agency through our organization. Young people are putting in the work because we know that our very futures and lives are on the line. So over the next few months, we are going to fight to ensure that the likes of Mitch McConnell and his fossil fuel-backed billionaire friends do not compromise our future and our planet. We are going to organize to make sure Joe Biden and his administration and Congress make good on their campaign trail promises. With waves of action planned over the coming months, we will push Congress to back a bold recovery agenda, calling for a $10 trillion investment over 10 years, directing 50% of that investment specifically to Black, Brown, tribal, and poor communities, and guaranteeing a job to every person who needs one in this country, doing the critical work of averting climate catastrophe. We need this moment in history to be huge. Millions and millions and millions of people's lives are on the line. This is a call to action for every elected official and person out there. At all levels of government, we need you to do everything in your power to protect our world from climate catastrophe. Thank you.
California Strong means making the hard choices to provide a better life for everyone.
California Strong means that we all belong, regardless of our zip code, our cultural background, our age, our ability, our gender identity. We all belong. That's the strength of California and an example for the United States.
California Strong means to me that we live in a forward-thinking state, one that is concerned with the environment, workers' rights, healthcare, and homelessness. It means that when we have tough problems, we look for solutions that work for the people. It means we live in a place of beauty where every person can and should be treated equally. It means we strive to make voting not only a right, but easy to do.
California Strong to me means resiliency in the face of tragedy and chaos.
California Strong means working hard every day, keeping our communities safe, protecting our most vulnerable, providing help when needed, building a strong economy, and leading the way for the rest of the country to follow.
I know a little bit about being California Strong because I have lived the California dream. Starting off as a young child, living in poverty, a Head Start student, my siblings and I benefiting from the free lunch program, and then having amazing public education teachers right here in California who inspired me to go to college, earning a spot at UCLA and being able to attend university on a Pell Grant. That helped propel me into my future.
California Strong means to me as a Democrat and as a human being, a state that works for everyone. Our state is only as strong as the communities that have been the most marginalized, the most disenfranchised, and the most discriminated against. So California Strong for me means that the state is a golden state for all people, where all people are given the opportunity to reach their potential.
I think that for Democrats, being California strong means really standing with our values, especially this last year during the pandemic. When we think about COVID and its impacts, especially to people of color, to seniors, to people with disabilities, I think Californians have led with science, with data, and with compassion. I'm really proud that as mayor of Long Beach, we've always focused on leading with our heart, that we've always focused on ensuring that those that need our help the most, those that need support, particularly those within our Black and Brown communities, those that need within our senior community, those that we've had to go and assist in their homes. That has been our focus.
California Strong to me means diversity, it means strength, resiliency. California is on the forefront for promoting our democratic values that include equality, social justice, being champions for the environment. What happens in California usually sets the tone for what happens in the rest of the United States.
As a proud Californian and Democrat, California Strong to me conveys our collective sense of resiliency and innovation that has always made our great state such a special place to live. But through the ups and the downs, California has always been so much more than just a place to live. It's our California values that make up the social and economic fabric of what this great state means to millions of infinitely diverse residents. That's what makes us California Strong.
California Strong means to me unity, a one unified voice, one Democratic Party, and it means courage. Courage to fight for our working families, for improving the quality of life of the residents of California, and for being the voice of those who feel that they have not been heard by government. That is what California Strong means to me.
California Strong is the recognition that when we come together, when we work together, there is nothing we can't do. California Strong is standing up for our values no matter what or how hard the work might be.
By leading with equity, investing in infrastructure and jobs, and making sure that everyone has an affordable, safe place to live.
Leading California through this pandemic gives us an opportunity to create a stronger economy and stronger communities than we had before the pandemic. That's exactly what we're going to do. Not return to the way we were, but to build back better, to lift up the previously underserved, empower our Main Street small businesses, and make equity the core of everything that we do.
I will continue to advocate for more housing, better health care, more coordination between cities and the county, the state, and the feds. And most importantly, I will keep people engaged and informed. We must work as a team to come back from these disasters in order to do that. We need an engaged citizenry.
To me, recovery means getting jobs back, equitably distributing the vaccine, but also providing relief programs. We need to target those who have been the hardest hit. This pandemic didn't impact everybody equally, as you know. And that's how I, as chair of the Board of Supervisors, plan to lead our county on the path to recovery. Equity will be at the core of everything. We have a long road ahead, but I'm not afraid, and I am so determined, just like my board colleagues, who are all strong women.
As mayor for the great city of Irvine, we're ahead of all the other Orange County cities in getting our community vaccinated, securing state funding to provide rent relief, and get our renters to pay back that deferred rent. And finally, making sure our businesses have the resources they need to thrive again.
I will lead Orange County with my core values always in mind, making sure not to leave anyone behind, caring for the most vulnerable in our community, ensuring that we have good quality jobs that provide people with stability and achievement towards the middle class, good union jobs, making sure that we protect our environment and everything we love about California.
While Mayor Stockton, I led us through this recovery with a $13 million surplus. We established a mutual aid organization called Stockton Strong. We ensured equity was at the focus of our COVID-19 relief efforts. And I started Marriage for a Guaranteed Income. Now, as special advisor to the governor and as founder of Marriage for a Guaranteed Income, doing that same work for the state, thinking about how do we make sure that the American Rescue Plan, and that what we've seen with COVID-19 is a down payment to a bright future that's truly California strong, with opportunity, prosperity for all people.
We focus on equity. We focus on providing information and services in multiple languages, in going to communities where folks are undocumented to ensure that they feel safe, going into Black churches and meeting people where they are. Those have been really important for us as a city. I'm really proud that during not just this last year, but as mayor, that we've always tried to center being kind, being compassionate, and leading boldly. I'm also proud that we have been strong partners with our governor. Our governor has done a great job in leading the state and leading during this pandemic. And I know that as Democrats, we all support him and will always support him as our leader here in California as Democrats, but also as our governor.
I am leading Elk Grove through our economic recovery with our Economic Recovery Task Force. The Economic Recovery Task Force has developed programs and resources to help our working families and our small businesses not only thrive, but really come back strong from our post-pandemic environment.
We're leading our local community through this recovery by taking the opportunity to rebuild and restructure our local economy in a way that truly serves everyone in our city. Fresno's allocation of American Rescue Plan dollars is an optimal opportunity to equitably invest in the people of our city and to push back against the widening inequality that has hindered our communities even long before the pandemic.
My community, like many of yours, was hit hard during 2020. And so as we look towards the light at the end of the tunnel in 2021, where my community, my residents have indicated to me that they would like to see is expansion of access to affordable housing, more jobs so that they can get back to work and improve their quality of life.
We're stepping up to provide refuge to unaccompanied minors seeking asylum in the United States because we know it's the right thing to do. And we're continuing the fight against gun violence because even amid a pandemic, we still face an epidemic of gun violence, and we know that there's more that we must do. Democrats, this is California Strong.
I am 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 California Strong.
I'm Fresno City Council Member Nelson Esparza, and I am California Strong.
My name is Tomas Oliva, and I am California Strong.
I'm California Strong. We are California Strong.
The DNC has made history over the last 4 years.
From flipping seats down the ballot.
Democrat Phil Murphy beat Lieutenant Governor Kim Guadagno. In 2017, you could see the beginnings of this suburban tide.
To electing the most diverse array of men and women to Congress.
In total, 114 women were elected in these midterms.
We rebuilt the DNC and won.
Since 2017, we flipped 7 governor seats,
4 attorney general seats,
4 Secretary of State seats,
4 Senate seats,
and more than 400 state legislative seats. We did all that
while winning back and keeping a Democratic majority in Congress.
We've traveled and organized across the country
and made it our priority to listen to every voice.
With your support, we broke records with our grassroots fundraising and raised nearly $450 million overall to win campaigns. That's more than any DNC in history.
We reimagined our tech infrastructure
by building a new voter file database while developing new strategies to combat disinformation and cybersecurity attacks.
We trained the next generation of leaders with Organizing Core 2020.
We heavily invested in battleground states and communities of color
with a variety of nationwide initiatives.
We built a historically strong voter protection infrastructure,
including investing in litigation that protected voters' rights
and in technology that helped our team identify individuals at risk of being purged from voter rolls.
That meant we built and expanded our voter assistance hotline and made it accessible in English and Spanish and to members of the disability community.
We safely knocked on more doors,
made more phone calls than ever before,
we built and mobilized the largest list of supporters and grassroots donors in DNC history.
We've restructured the way we've run our primaries to ensure a fair and transparent primary process.
We hit the debate stage to have meaningful discussions about how to make the promise of America work for all of us.
Our candidates fueled the momentum behind the Democratic Unity Fund.
In unprecedented times,
We developed new strategies in order to meet voters where they are.
by educating people on how to safely vote in whatever way worked best for them. But most importantly,
We never stop fighting. Joseph R. Biden Jr. is elected the 46th president.
Joe Biden and Kamala Harris will receive the most votes of any presidential ticket ever.
Together,
We took back the White House.
we know this work is just the beginning. But with your support, we will continue to make history together.
Delegates and guests, please welcome the Speaker of the U.S. House of Representatives, the Honorable Nancy Pelosi.
Greetings, California Democrats. As former chair of the California Democratic Party, it is my personal honor to join you virtually at this year's convention to celebrate California Strong. As Speaker of the House, it is my privilege to bring you the gratitude of our magnificent House Democratic majority that is over 60% women, LGBTQ, and people of color. And it's with the pleasure that I bring you greetings from your entire California Democratic delegation that you have helped elect and protect in the 2020 elections. Thanks to the extraordinary hard work of our VIPs, our volunteers in politics, Democrats held the House, took back the White House, and flipped the Senate. Because of your hard work, we celebrated the 100 days of the Biden-Harris administration this week. Thanks to your determination to save lives and livelihoods, help is here to crush the virus, putting vaccines in people's arms, money in people's pockets, children safely back in school, and people back in their jobs. In the American Rescue Plan, Democrats delivered key wins for our state. To name a few, we secured over $42 billion in state and local relief to protect the jobs of our heroic frontline workers. More than $36 billion to keep our state moving forward with government assistance for education, transportation, child care, and more. And $98 billion for money in the pockets of families in need. That's about $175 billion so far. We also reached the milestones of having administered 200 million shots in arms under 100 days of the Biden-Harris administration, far exceeding their initial goal of 100 million shots in 100 days. Our work to strengthen California and meet the needs of the people is not done. Millions of American workers are out of a job while our infrastructure is crumbling. Now is the time for a once-in-a-century investment to create millions of good-paying jobs, ensuring Americans can compete with any country in the world and pave the way for economic growth for decades to come. And we will do so by creating good-paying jobs as we save the planet. It will be green. Democrats are working hard to find bipartisan support for the American Jobs Plan. At the same time, the House Democratic majority is taking bold action to defend California values for the people. To address systemic racism and curb police brutality, we passed the George Floyd Justice in Policing Act, and I want to salute Congresswoman Karen Bass for her tremendous work. To honor George Floyd and everyone seeking justice and accountability, this bill must be enacted into law. Maxine Waters is helping enormously on that. To end the epidemic of gun violence, we passed 2 common-sense gun violence prevention measures. To protect women in the LGBTQ community, we voted to reauthorize VAWA, the Violence Against Women Act, and pass the Equality Act, the Paycheck Fairness Act, and the Equal Rights Amendment led by Congresswoman Jackie Speer. To ensure that immigrants who make America more American can continue to enrich our nation, we passed the Dream and Promise Act and the Farm Workforce Modernization Act. that under the leadership of the chair of our California Democratic delegation, Zoe Lofgren. To defend our voices at the ballot box with Republican voter suppression, we passed the For the People Act, and much more will be accomplished. From devastating wildfires to the worst pandemic in a century, our state has faced an unprecedented series of crises. But California is strong. Our principles inspire us to lift each other up and fight for the most vulnerable. You know what we say, we don't agonize, we organize. With your persistent mobilization and with the leadership of Governor Gavin Newsom and Chair Rusty Hicks, we will continue strengthening our state. We will protect our House majority by re-electing Mike Levin, Josh Harder, and Katie Porter, and re-elect Senator Alex Padilla. Led by President Joe Biden and California's own Vice President Kamala Harris, we will build back better and fully renew the soul of our country. God bless you all. God bless California, and God bless the United States of America. Best wishes for a successful convention. Thank you all very much.
Hello, Democrats. As an activist in our party, I, just like you, give a lot of my time to electing Democrats. And to help elect many more Democrats, we need your financial contributions. To achieve goals like immigration reform and fair pay, we must invest. That's why I'm asking for your support to become a monthly donor to the California Democratic Party. Just for as little as $7 a month, we can build towards 2022. Join us.
Delegates and guests, please welcome Virginia State Delegate from District 13, Danica Rome.
Hello, my name is Danica Rome. I'm the Virginia State Delegate from the 13th District of the Virginia House of Delegates, gratefully and proudly representing the people of the city of Manassas Park and the Prince William County portions of Haymarket, Gainesville, and my lifelong home Manassas, which is where I am right now. And I just want to say thank you so much to everyone at the California Democratic Party for inviting me to speak today to y'all. And I just want to really also mention the fact that in a lot of our Democratic trifecta states right now, we're doing something very different from what our counterparts are doing, in that we are actually working to make our states more inclusive, so we're not singling out and stigmatizing the very people we're elected to serve. And as the first out-and-seated transgender state legislator in American history, I am so proud of the work that we've done here in Virginia to actually make our Commonwealth more inclusive by passing about 24 pro-LGBTQ equality bills, by voting for Virginia to ratify the Equal Rights Amendment, by actually doing something serious about voting rights, about climate change, about our energy policy, and so many other aspects of Virginia life and American society really as a whole. And as we're doing it, we're telling our constituents, we're telling the people we serve that we welcome you because of who you are, not despite it, and not for what discriminatory politicians tell you you're supposed to be, no matter what you look like, where you come from, how you worship if you do, or who you love. And when I earned election for the first time in 2017, and I had to take on a 26-year incumbent who had been in office since I was 7 years old, I was running against someone who had written my state's constitutional amendment banning marriage equality and had written the bathroom bill, among other bills. And at the same time, when I ran that race, I decided that I would focus on the core quality of life issues that the people of the 13th district really needed from their delegate and just, from their elected officials as a whole. And that's why I focused so much on fixing Route 28, and we've actually are finally making progress on that now. This is why I've been focusing on feeding hungry kids, and of my 23 bills that Governor Virginia has now signed into law during my 2 terms, I'm so proud that 8 of those bills have been dedicated to preventing school meal debt shaming and actually providing free school meals for kids in the first place and making it easier to sign up for free and reduced school breakfast and school lunch. And at the same time, as we've done this, I like to think that the tempo and the tone that we have set here in the 13th and really throughout the Commonwealth is that when our constituents are asking us to take care of their constituent service issues, we're responsive, we show up, and we actually mean what we say and we get stuff done. And one of the bills that's been making a lot of waves right now that I was fortunate enough to carry and author this year is our ban on the gay and trans panic defense, just like y'all did out in California. Well, once we got that done, we became the first state in the South it wasn't just important for me as a trans woman to get that done. It was important for me as a constituent service request to honor that when a 15-year-old out constituent of mine from Manassas Park High School right here in the 13th District asked me if I would be willing to carry that legislation. And the fact that not only was I able to submit it, but the fact that we were able to get it done, that really goes to show the legacy of student activism and how important student activism remains today, especially in a state where we have recently voted to replace our statue of Robert E. Lee in the Statutory Hall in Congress and replace that bust with one of Barbara Johns. And if you don't know the story of Barbara Johns, this is a Black girl as a teenager who led a walkout in her segregated Jim Crow South school to protest the conditions of the Black school compared to the white school in town. And her case eventually led all the way up to be incorporated into the Brown versus Board of Education decision of the Supreme Court. What I hope that teaches everyone is the power of your voice, that it is never too young, that you're never too young to be involved, and that the time for you to do the right thing is right now. So thank you all so much to everyone in the California Democratic Party for having me. Thank you so much for the work that you've done to not just, make sure that you're electing Democrats in your own state, but for the work that you've done to help us out here in Virginia too. We've absolutely appreciated all the help that you pitched in 2017 and 2019, and we know y'all will have our backs again here in 2021. So let's go win everywhere this November 2nd in 2021. And we will see y'all again very, very soon. Thank you all so much and take care.
California Democrats, we know our party is a grassroots-led, people-powered organization. And the way in which we fund the work of our party should reflect that. And that's why I'm so incredibly proud of our Trailraiser program. We know that the last year has been incredibly challenging, and there have been 126 California Democrats, delegates of the California Democratic Party, that stepped forward to raise small dollar donor contributions to fund the work of our party. Through their incredible hard work, they raised $361,000 in small dollar donor contributions, not only helping to fund the work, but also growing our small dollar donor network to the biggest that it's ever been before. Today, I'm incredibly proud to announce the first 50 Trailraisers for the 2022 cycle. Because of their early investment, we have been able to initiate our hard work, the grassroots organizing that happens day in and day out, earlier than ever before. I'm grateful to each and every one of them who have stepped forward early on in the election cycle to raise anywhere from $2,500 to $5,000 for the party over the course of the next 18 months. And for those of you who haven't yet signed up to be a Trailraiser, it's not too late. You can go to cadem.org/2022 Trailraiser. I hope you'll join us. Thanks so much.
Delegates and guests, please welcome California Democratic Party Controller Dan Weitzman.
Hello, California Democrats. It's my honor to address you today and to serve as your controller. Seems like yesterday, I was an 18-year-old young Democrats president at my first convention in Los Angeles, and I marveled at all the activists and Democratic people I got to meet. That day, I realized that this is what I wanted to dedicate my life to, and the California Democratic Party was my home. Since then, a lot's happened. I fully engaged in the Young Democrats, serving as a national committee man, the treasurer, and the Northern president. I was proud to be honored as the Sac State College Democrat Alumni of the Year, the CUID Mentor of the Year, and I'm a member of the CUID Hall of Fame. I proudly served 5 terms as Region 3 Director, the youngest ever elected, and I've been a member of the Sacramento County Democratic Central Committee for almost 3 decades. Along the way, as many of you know, I fell in love, got married, and had 2 amazing kids. In short, I've always prided myself as being a Democratic activist and a true believer in our party and its ability to affect positive change. I've seen Wilson Red California turn a deep, deep blue in my lifetime, and I know that this was the party that did it. Our voices and grassroots workers lit the flame that allowed us to win super duper majorities in the Assembly and Senate and every statewide office. We never gave up and we never gave in to the cynical GOP hate mongering and division. As your controller and lead chair of the Finance Committee, we did tremendous work raising grassroots dollars through the DEM program. And we awarded over $20,000 to young Democratic organizing through the Eric Bradley Memorial Grant Program. These accomplishments are a tribute to our small committee working together to bring real, tangible results to our party. We walked our talk and made good on the promise of growing our party finances with clean, small dollars. I encourage everyone to join the DEM 2022 program and be a part of the change that we all talk about. Our actions will speak volumes to where we see the direction of our party. If we all give a little, we can raise a lot for the future of our party. We must, in a deliberative and affirmative way, act. And as delegates, we must forge the path to allow others to follow. Leadership means standing out and speaking out about our values and our direction. Progressive values without progressive actions are like shouting into the wind. We are the leaders and the beacon for the people-powered party. And I'm 100% committed to digging deeper and growing our financial pie. In 2021, we must also beat back the GOP recall of our governor and stop the steal of our government. In closing, I love this party because it's the party of everyone, not just the rich and the perfect. It's a party of all amazing and diverse and varying views that create an amazing melting pot of real people. We must never forget that we are stronger if we work together and aim our focus on the future. Never lose sight of who we are and who they are. Thank you for allowing me to serve you and be your Democratic leader.
Hello, I'm Dr. Richard Pan, State Senator and Chair of the Asian Pacific Islander Legislative Caucus.
And I'm Assembly Member Evan Lowe, representing Silicon Valley and currently serving as the Vice Chair of the California Asian Pacific Islander Legislative Caucus.
May is API Heritage Month. It is a time to reflect and celebrate the many achievements and contributions Asian Americans and Pacific Islanders have made to our great country over generations. As your API Legislative Caucus, we serve, represent, and work to build common interest in all of California's diverse communities.
This last year has been incredibly difficult, not only as we recover from this devastating pandemic, but also in light of the spike in hate crimes and xenophobia targeting the Asian Pacific Islander community. We applaud President Joe Biden's leadership for calling on greater protections for our Asian Pacific Islander community, especially during this national emergency. And we invite each and every one of you, all of Californians, to stand in solidarity with us.
To do this, we must recognize some hard truths. The kind of abuse we've seen is a manifestation of deep-seated racism and misogyny in our country. While there are some who seek to divide us, we recognize that systemic racism and violence hurts all people of color. And the only solution is to come together, call attention to these injustices, and protect one another.
In response to this crisis, the California State Legislature has advanced a number of pieces of legislation, as well as funding to stop AAPI hate and the Reporting Project. This last year has created so much pain and suffering and heartache for so many. So thank you for allowing us to create a space for joy and healing.
We celebrate our unity and shared future with the knowledge that tomorrow will be brighter. The American ideal is to recognize the rich cultural diversity of our nation and honor the contributions of all immigrants. Maxine Hong Kingston, a Chinese-American author, once said, "The images of peace are ephemeral. The language of peace is subtle. The reasons for peace, the definitions of peace, the very idea of peace have to be invented and invented again."
Thank you. Sincerely, thank you for locking arms with our Asian Pacific Islander community, your neighbors. Tonight, we will honor those who have fought for civil rights and for equality as we restore peace in our communities.
I bring greetings to you from over 310,000 members. A little over a year ago, we were thrust into this pandemic. Many lives were lost around the globe, across the nation, and right here in our state. More than 51,000 deaths in California. That's nearly 10% of the 570,000 who died in the US.
My mom passed away, and it was weeks before I can be held by anyone. And as hard as that was to live through once in my life, I then had to relive that experience as I lost other loved ones over and over again. And this is just the tip of the iceberg of what so many of us have had to experience during this pandemic.
What is so frustrating is that things could have been different if the previous White House put people before politics, profits, and power.
I'm really excited to see my students in person, but I know it will take all of us to maintain the safe and healthy school communities we fought so hard to secure. For more than a year now, educators have been advocating for the multi-layered health and safety measures to safely return to the classroom. But guess what? It hasn't been easy. There wasn't a day when our members didn't want to be in class with our students, period. But we knew we needed to fight to make schools safe for teachers, school employees, students, and their families. We are getting there, but we can't let up. Safety and safe learning environments are the priority.
I'm amazed at the resilience of California. Educators nationwide shifted focus on the fly, learning how to teach and engage in a new and changing environment, all while dealing with the demands of supporting and protecting our own families and simply living through these unprecedented times.
My children range from the age of 4 to 17. So it has definitely been a trying time for me, but it's also been a time where I've had to step back and truly realize what's important.
Education is built up on mostly women. They make up over 70% of our profession. And during this lockdown, they're the ones that truly had to change and deliver, not only for their students, but for their families. We have to continue to fight for progress that needs to be made to close that gender gap. The pandemic shined a light on inequalities and lack of resources that have long lived in communities of color. A captivated and quarantined America watched in horror as George Floyd was killed by a uniformed officer. Black Lives Matter, Stop Asian Hate. Both these assertions run consistently in my mind. The pandemic showed us that racism has never ceased to exist. We all deserve the right to live, to breathe, to be whatever we want in our communities. This is the time to take the opportunities to make sure that we change things that we saw that were incorrect, to make it so that everyone has an equitable opportunity to thrive.
I'm a strong supporter of the DEM 2022 program, and I've been a member since the inception of the DEM program. Donate every month helps elect grassroots Democrats. It flattens our party finances and empowers us. For a cup of coffee a month or a week, we can change how this party is funded, and we can change how we as a party grow, and we invest ourselves. Whatever I always tell people, it's important that we as a party empower each other, and DEM 2022 is the key.
Delegates and guests, please welcome Congresswoman Barbara Lee.
Greetings, delegates and attendees. I hope that you're enjoying this year's 2021 CDP convention. We are facing an ongoing housing crisis in our state, with the unhoused receiving insufficient help. And yes, we in California know and believe that housing is a basic human right. From the start of his administration, Governor Newsom has taken this crisis head on. To create meaningful change in housing, all levels of government, however, need to continue working with our governor. A recall of Governor Newsom would not only be a setback in resolving the housing crisis, it would be bad for all Californians. Gavin's proactive measures and leadership saved lives in this state. Saved lives. That's why Governor Newsom has my unequivocal support, and why we will and must defeat this right-wing driven recall. We who are gathered here today must do our part. Thank you, and I look forward to our 2022 party convention, when we will see each other again in person. Yes, California Democrats, we are definitely California strong.
Delegates and guests, please welcome California State Controller Betty Yee.
Thank you for your sustained support of my service as the CFO of the 5th largest economy in the world. I'm honored to lead a 1,400-strong team that takes pride in making a difference in people's lives, even if it doesn't win them the recognition they deserve. And because my amazing team doesn't get that attention, few know what their dedication looks like. It looks like this. Since I became your controller, our state has not had to do any external borrowing to pay its bills, not $1. And as California's only independent auditor, my team has uncovered close to $6 billion in public funds directed to unallowed uses. This is what true fiscal responsibility looks like. I pay tribute to my team for proactively locating victims of disasters, such as those displaced by the Camp Fire, to ensure they receive their paychecks or their retirement checks, understanding this is what families count on to help with survival and recovery. And my team did not disappoint once the COVID crisis began. They did not miss a beat in issuing payroll and benefits to state employees, educators, and retirees, refunds to taxpayers, payments to the state's vendors, and funds to local governments and school districts throughout California. This is what accountability and service look like, and why the State Controller's Office has been accorded the title Fiscal First Responder during the pandemic. As chair of the State Lands Commission, I have repeatedly stood our ground against increased drilling in federal waters off our coast, and in fact, led the shuttering of the last state oil platform in the Santa Barbara Channel. I have defended our desert lands from exploitative water extraction projects. I have fought wealthy coastal landowners who believe California's public beaches are theirs alone to enjoy. Our beaches and coastline belong to everyone in our state, not just a privileged few. And I was honored to shepherd the return of 40 acres of land in Inyo County to the Lone Pine Paiute Shoshone Reservation to preserve and protect tribal cultural resources. This is what equity and justice look like. As chair of the Franchise Tax Board, I delivered cash benefits of over $1 billion to low-income working families through the California Earned Income Tax Credit. This year, the Cali ITC program will be expanded to undocumented filers, recognizing that they too are taxpayers and contributors to our economy. And while we have the distinction as the world's 5th largest economy, California also bears the dishonor of having the highest effective rate of poverty in the United States. We must work to raise wages to a living wage, declare health care and housing as human rights, and pass CalCare and long-term housing protections for renters. This is what intentionality looks like, working urgently to leave no community behind. And you know what doesn't look like that? Throwing away $90 million on a partisan recall that is nothing more than a power grab. I know a thing or two about California's finances, and $90 million could help tens of thousands of families with rent, keeping them from becoming homeless. $90 million could help school kids learn without their stomachs empty, or build parks where they can play after the bell rings. $90 million could rebuild roads, get seniors a ride to the doctor, clean up polluted communities, or help small businesses who've struggled so much in the last year. Thank you for standing with me in this work. So many are counting on us to deliver for them. Together, we will not let them down.
Hi folks, my name is Nima Rahimi. I'm a 3-time delegate to the California Democratic Party, and I became a trailblazer because I believe the resources that the California Democratic Party raises should be coming from small donors, should be coming from our constituents, the people that voted for us to be delegates to the state Democratic Party. I don't want those resources coming from special interests or corporate interests, because I believe when the money is coming from the people themselves, that gives the party the independence to stand and fight for the people. So join me. Thank you.
Delegates and guests, please welcome California Superintendent of Public Instruction, Tony Thurmond.
Students, just want to remind you, no matter how hard this is, I'm proud of you, and I want you to keep showing up every day.
I give great credit to our educators and our students. They've been incredibly resilient under the most difficult times. First, the pandemic, then fires, watching, the killing of George Floyd and acts of racism, just so many things that have occurred.
We should recognize the intersectionality of education and racism and its impact on Black and brown students. California Department of Education has launched a new initiative, an implicit bias campaign training for all of our 10,000 schools to have courageous conversations about race and racism.
State Superintendent Tony Thurmond called on companies to help the state come up with $500 million to provide digital devices and internet access to students.
We're drawing a line in the sand, and we're saying we've got to close that digital divide.
California State Superintendent Tony Thurmond says he knows how the state plans to move forward with in-person learning. He says he believes rapid COVID testing will be the key to expanding more schools and grade levels to in-person learning.
We're working around the clock with our 1,000 school districts to help them think through guidance coming out of the state from the Department of Public Health. When is it okay to have in-person instruction?
Yesterday, Thurmond said about 400,000 educators have received their vaccines so far. The state designated $6.6 billion to help fund the return to the classroom.
I want to give tremendous thanks to teachers and parents and students and school administrators and superintendents. This is not easy. We're stronger together, we can do more together, and we will get through this all together. So thank you for all of your efforts. Greetings, Democrats. It's great to be with you. I wish that we could be together in person, but for now, this is the best way for us to celebrate, and just know that we look forward to when we can be together again in person. What a year this has been. I think it's fair to say that this is the toughest moment that we will ever experience in our lifetime. But we've done what we needed to do to keep everyone safe and to ensure that our students can continue to get their education. I want to commend our students for their resiliency. I want to just say thank you to our parents for balancing your own jobs while making sure that your students were engaged in learning online. To our teachers, all of our educators, all of our administrators, thank you for all of your incredible hard work, for leaning in to make sure that our students still have the ability to get an education even while we were in this time. This is tough work that we have ahead of us. We're not out of the woods, but I believe that pretty soon we can find ourselves on the other side. So let's continue to work closely together. Let's keep organizing. Let's keep fighting. And let's do it on behalf of our students, our teachers, and all of our educators. So thank you, and have a great convention.
Delegates and guests, please welcome DNC Chair Jamie Harrison.
Hello, California Democrats. It's so good to be with you tonight. Gatherings like this make me feel optimistic about the future of the Democratic Party and the future of America. I want to take a moment to acknowledge the leadership of the party. Chair Rusty Hicks, Vice Chair Betty Yee, Vice Chair David Campos, Secretary Malahat Rafiee, and Controller April Verrett. I also want to thank outgoing Vice Chair Alex Rooker. This team's timeless commitment to the progressive values that guide the 10 million proud Democrats you boast statewide is no small feat, as is the important work you carry out each and every day. I'm grateful for this leadership. And I want to thank all of you. Because of your efforts, we have leaders in place to help end this pandemic and to get the country back on track. Leaders like President Biden and my friend California's own Vice President Harris. We have leaders like Governor Gavin Newsom, who time and time again has demonstrated the intelligence and focus necessary to steer the state through unprecedented crises. I know we're united and ready to work to ensure that he remains doing what he does best, fighting for Californians every single day. I also want to give a special thank you to my friend and the Speaker of the House of Representatives, Nancy Pelosi. I had the pleasure of serving as a leadership staffer in the House, and I worked closely with the Speaker. I'm so proud of her efforts to make the American dream a reality for all. I'm also thankful for the service of Senators Feinstein and Padilla, as well as the congressional delegation, which includes DNC members Waters and Lee. For those of you who don't know me yet, I'd like to briefly introduce myself. I'm the son of a single mother from Orangeburg, South Carolina. We lived with my grandparents, and even though we didn't have much, we always had our values. I was taught that hard work, integrity, and commitment to service would take me far in life, and I'm proud to say they have. I'm also proud to say those are the same values that will guide me as chair of the DNC. The Democratic Party has always stood for opportunity and hope for a better future. Voters around the country, and especially in California, have recognized that. Voters have also recognized that real leaders know that actions speak much louder than words. So while both parties may have promised that help is on the way, in the past year, only one party successfully showed up and delivered. That's why we're able to put the past 4 years behind us and elect Joe Biden and Kamala Harris. That's why in California, we hold every statewide office and will continue to do so. That's why we've got majorities in both legislative chambers, and that's why we have both U.S. Senate seats and 42 House seats. And you better believe, my friends, we're coming for the rest. Because it's not enough to look at a map and focus our energy on the areas that go blue. We do not set out to just lead the Californians who vote Democrat. Once we take office, we serve every member of all of our communities. Governor Newsom knows the challenges we face better than anyone. And because of his focus and decisive leadership, California is on the road to recovery. In just 3 months, The Biden-Harris administration has worked tirelessly to get America back on track, and the California Democrats have been there every step of the way. You are providing direct relief to folks who are struggling and keeping folks in their homes. You're helping small businesses and getting Californians back to work, and you're putting shots in arms and expanding access to vaccines. President Biden has surpassed his goal of 200 million vaccinations in his first 100 days in office, and California's role in that effort was enormous. Right now, you exceed all other states with 18 million doses of COVID vaccines safely administered to your residents. This is why we need leaders like Governor Newsom, now more than ever. My friends, there are those out there who want to roll back the progress we've made. They want to roll back the progress you've made, but we can't allow it. There are those who want to pit us against each other so that you lose focus on leading. We can't allow that either. There are those who think that with 2020 behind us, we don't have to worry about the next election until next summer. We most definitely cannot allow that. I have said it before and I will say it again. The Democratic Party can't just be a political organization. We have to be a community organization, addressing the everyday needs of the people across this country. We need to take this time to reach out to neighbors and learn more about what keeps them up at night. We need to look for ways to solve real problems that affect those folks. Now more than ever, we need to be relying on the wisdom and experience of folks on the ground who have a proven track record of producing results in historically undeserved communities. I want us to be the party constantly looking forward. That comes from shaping both the hearts and the minds of the people we represent. That also comes when we work together and give every voice a chance to be heard. I look forward to the great work to come, and I thank you all for having me here today.
Delegates and guests, please join us again at 2 p.m. to hear from United States Vice President Kamala Harris, California Governor Gavin Newsom, U.S. Senator Alex Padilla, and many more speakers after this intermission break.